Good afternoon, it's May 21st, alternately cloudy and sunny. Nothing special planned. I had thought I might drive somewhere, but I'm not, because I'm just not. So I think we'll just wander over to Lakeview and walk around over there. Haven't done that for a while. Sort of just random. I thought about walking down to the community garden, but I don't think I'll do that today. Maybe do that tomorrow. It's a Saturday, so we had all our shopping to do, grocery shopping and so forth. We'll stop at the Italian Star Deli for some olives and things, and the usual grocery shopping. Did a bunch of work this morning, mostly on Kickstarter stuff. Well, it's not a Kickstarter anymore, but on the anthology that I kickstarted. Sending out contracts to authors. Kind of what my focus was today. Still have a few stories to come in. I actually need to get all the contracts signed so that I can apply for a book production grant for the book from Creative Saskatchewan, so I may have to do two separate grant applications, one for the two books that are ready to go and the one for the anthology, which isn't. I'm rather heavily counting on those book production grants to do what I want to do this fall, so I've gotten one before on the first Shapers of Worlds anthology, so I'm hoping. It's getting very springy here. Flowers even, birds flying around, green grass, more leaves all the time. So the first stop, of course, well, it's not a stop, but the first place we have to get to is the footbridge, which is the next street down here, Cornwall. Go by the row houses. Heritage property. Built in 1913, I'm sure. I've looked it up several times. Maybe I finally remembered. Because it says right on it up there. 1913. For sure. Henderson Terrace, 1913. I could still walk to the community garden. I think I'd rather stick to Lakeview today, this side of Elphinstone. For some reason, there are hoses all over the road, or all over the sidewalk here. Not sure why. Something they're doing along the sidewalk. It's on both sides too. Don't know what that's all about. Pipe and hoses, which would imply draining something. And they're running into people's backyards. Then they run down here to this pipe that's running along the sidewalk. So I don't know what that's all about. I'm sure they're not pumping water to people's backyards, so they must be draining something. It goes by everybody's house. Huh. And it's on both sides of the street too, so it's nothing to do with the creek, which is quite a ways from here. Something into the alley, maybe? Well, it's not actually connected either. I am confused. Huh. And here it goes all the way down there as well. I have no idea what that's all about. It carries on along here too. new house that was being built when I first started doing these walks a little over a year ago. People living in it now, but still some landscaping to go, it looks like. And there's this, well, I saw them digging this hole in the middle of the street. I hear something running. Right there. Huh. And up here, it's actually coming out. It's just going into the gutter. I have no idea what they're up to. They didn't ask me. Hi, what does that say? Renew? Yep. Hi. All right, well, over the bridge. Hello. Normally I'd stop and look at the creek, but they were doing that. Okay, once we get over here, we'll start zigzagging. So we get a kind of a random path through the Lakeview neighbourhood here. The creek is always right over there. This is Regina Avenue, which goes straight to the airport. If you're going to the airport, you'd most likely come down Regina Avenue here for most of the city. Well, from the downtown part of the city anyway. If you're coming from the other side of the city, you'd probably take the ring road around the outside. And we'll go up Robinson and continue in that kind of zigzaggy pattern, sometimes on the street, sometimes on the alleys. That's a pretty new house over there. It's a nice big one. Warm in the sun, cool whenever the sun goes behind a cloud. My decision is that we will zigzag on both alleys and roads today. That's the plan. I just made it up, but that's the plan. Not too muddy. There has been some rain, but no, I think I'll be all right even on these unpaved roads. Or alleys, I should say. The brown ones are garbage, the blue ones are recycling bins I'm referring to. An old garage there. Doesn't look like it's garage anymore. Lots of people doing things in their yards. Our yard's being cleaned up. You may have noticed I didn't start where I usually do. It's because the guys were using a leaf blower in the yard and really noisy. And then they're going to mow it too, which I had noticed it needs. It's the annoying thing about grass. It grows. Nice BMW. Okay, now we will go up Britannic here, which of course, if you could take it straight across the creek, would take you right back to our house, but there's no bridge on Britannic, only on Cornwall, and then on Albert, and then on Elphinstone. Nice older houses down in here. And everything looks nicer now than it did in the winter, thanks to the onset of spring. Kind of smaller ones along this road. There's a really old and small one. There's quite a few of that particular pattern. Must have been a developer, or it was just a popular pattern at the time for small houses. These were clearly built from the same plan. Kind of an interesting one over there. There's a few new ones mixed in here with the older ones. Hi. That's an interesting design on that one. Interesting windows too, and shutters. Oh, here's an alley, so that takes us onto the alley again. Don't know if we get a cross alley. I think maybe that where that person just walked is, yeah, it must be. Oh, nope, I was wrong. It's the actual road, not an alley at all. Not at all at all. This is McCallum coming up here. Older one, and that one over there would have been really modern. It was built, but it's probably over there, probably quite old now. Once again, the gimbal is deciding it wants to ignore which direction I'm walking. I don't know why it does that. I'm trying to point it at things and it keeps pointing elsewhere. I like this one. It's kind of Spanish with the red roof and the blue shutters, that kind of Moorish arch. And this one here I've been by many times. It's a very big one that's actually multiple dwellings now. It hasn't been a single family home for a very long time. It's been kind of a group home for a long time. I don't know what it looks like inside. All right, well, that brings us to Angus. And one more zig will take us to Albert up there where all the traffic is. Been in this one. I think when we were looking, we weren't really looking for a house. We ended up in a condo, but when we were doing all that house looking right before we were married, we did go to a few places like this. Never had any intent to buy it. We have an old house. Been in the family since 1939 and was built in 26. So it's almost 100 years old. Bigger ones here on Angus. Mostly the older ones too. I don't know if there's any brand new ones along here. I smell barbecue, or at least fire. I hope it's a barbecue. Not a gas barbecue. Smells like a charcoal fire. That one has a turret. I'm a big fan of turrets. Goes with my love of fantasy and castles. Big porch on that one too, big wraparound porch. Okay, well, we zig again. I think there's still an alley before we get to Albert. So directly across from us now on Albert Street is the Walter Scott building, which I walked by, what was that, Thursday, I guess, when I came back from dropping the car off down on South Albert. I walked by it. All right, this is actually a paved alley. So the biggest houses of all are over here on the left, facing onto Albert. So you can sort of tell these are big houses when you see, you know, a gate like that, and then the big garage, and then the houses beyond that. Yeah, some sort of gazebo in the backyard too, it looks like. It looks like it used to be a garage, but I don't see a garage door on it. Now it's more of an extension of the house, it looks like. Oh. Pearl Hardware. Huh. It's just be an old sign they rescued. It's nice to have a paved alley. We have one behind our house because of the school. So the school buses use it. I think that's why it's paved. This one has a very distinctive garage. But again, I guess in this case the garage doors are actually on this side. Well, we will go up one more block and walk one block along Albert. And then start zigzagging back. So this is Albert Street, the main north-south drag. So when I walked on Thursday, I was going the other way, on the other side of the street there, by the Lloyd building and all those government office buildings. Now we're on the side with the big houses. Quite a few of which are featured in my book, Historic Walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. If I could figure out some way to carry that with me and read from it, I could do a tour. I could do all the tours and narrate them. It'd be slow though. You'd have to stop for like 5 minutes at each place. You wouldn't get very many houses in. A big one. Before your hour was up. More private yard here. Also, of course, reduces noise from the busy street. All these houses have huge yards. Take a lot of mowing. You almost want a riding mower for these, and maybe they have them somewhere. This one's particularly interesting. I don't remember any details about it, but it's a very interesting roof line and look to the house. So I see somebody's there. Ebayi? Not sure how to pronounce that. Thank you. All right, now we'll zigzag back into the quieter area here. How far? 21 minutes, so I will go a little further south before I start heading back north. There's the south end of that house I was just pointing out. This was like the neighborhood in the very early, oh, there's a truck down there, I won't take that. In the very early days of Regina. Especially along Albert there, that's why all those big houses are there. You had politicians and real estate people and people like that live there. Now this is a big house, but it's quite new, I think. I think it's brand new and not an old house. It's been redone in some fashion. There's a cat. I like cats. Hello, cat. Eating grass. He's not one of those cats that runs up to everybody who comes along to get petted, which is probably more of a survival tactic for an outdoor cat. Now, I can't even imagine letting our cat outdoors. I'd be worried about him all the time. In the city. Letting him out and never knowing if he's coming back, I would hate that. Also, he cost us money because he's a purebred Siberian, so he's quite a valuable cat. All cats are valuable, but he has an actual monetary value. Cinnamoran Avenue. So we will zig down that way. It's still working my way south for the moment. This actually worked out pretty well because the next zig is organic. Can't walk any further this way once you get to that T intersection. Those are newer houses there. Not the first dog I've seen. You always see people walking their dogs. No matter what time you walk, no matter what the weather is, somebody will be out with their dog. Well, does that count as a zig? Maybe it does. We'll take the alley. Especially since it's a paved alley. Hear music from somewhere. Sharp dressed man, ZZ Top. big one there. Nice backyard. Treehouse, complete with windows. It doesn't have any walls, but it has windows. Maybe they're planning to put walls on it. I don't know. Everybody's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. That's kind of my golden era of watching music videos, was the 80s, when I was in my 20s. I used to watch Friday night videos on NBC every week for a while. Eventually I got out of the habit. Got older. Lost interest. 26 minutes? Okay. We'll go one more time, one more street down here, and then we'll start zigzagging north. Everybody's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. There's pinwheeling. I cover more ground in the good weather than I did in the winter when there was always ice and you had to be careful of. Usually slowed me down a few minutes per hour, a few meters, I guess. A few meters per minute, probably the way to measure that. Now I can clip along at a pretty good pace. Smaller houses along here, kind of more ordinary. Now, one of these, is it along this stretch of Assiniboine? I knew well, but it might even have been that one, because it was where Tom and Yvonne Ellis lived, and Yvonne had started a company, they had started a company called Thai Productions. And I did a number of shows with Thai Productions back in the early 80s, early 90s, I mean. Very late 80s, early 90s, because that's when I got here. And it was one of these, there's a house along here somewhere. It had a green neon number sign. I remember that. It wouldn't be neon because neon is red, but fluorescent. I don't remember exactly what the number was or which stretch of Assiniboine it was on, but I think it might have been that little piece I just walked on. Oh, I used to know the guy that was the music minister at that Baptist church over there. Argyle Baptist Church, I think it's called. Okay. This takes us back now. We've turned north again, but we will continue to zigzag because it will be a different pattern than we came down on. I guess really this is kind of taking us more northwest than straight north, the way this road runs. It's called Argyle here, and then it's Montague, is that right? And then it's Elphinstone. I always just think of it as Elphinstone, but it isn't in fact called Elphinstone down here. Alright, time to zig the other way. Deeper into the heart of Lakeview. Doesn't even have a street sign on that corner. That's unusual. Okay. Away from the noise of Argyle, Elphinstone, whatever. Back into the peace and quiet of a Saturday afternoon in Lakeview. If I walk tomorrow, which I may not, I often like to take one day off on the weekend. I might go out to the community garden. I'm going to be in Toronto in a few days, and don't know if I will walk while I'm there or not. So if I go silent for about 4 or 5 days, it just means I'm busy doing other things. Don't know that I want to do this in Toronto. There's lots of people that walk in Toronto. What would I add to it? But I'll probably take it with me, and maybe I'll decide to do something. I think I'm at the Westin, so it's right downtown. Oh, an old Mercedes up there on the right. An old plate on the front. Looks like it's in good shape though, for its age. There's a playground over there. A little pocket park. I've walked through that before, but it didn't work out this way today. There's a nice, fairly modern, reasonably modern, might be 60s actually, but it has that more modern look. That's a very 70s color, I would think, if that's still the original color. I liked brown in the 70s and orange. This is going to curve us around, it looks like. I always said, these are the kind of houses I always wished we had when I was a kid, but we never lived in one. We did live in a small brick house, smaller than these, in Texas, that we rented. But it has a very kind of southern town look to it. Okay, another zig, possibly a zag. It's a zig if you did a zag last time, and it's a zag if you did a zig last time, so it's all relative. Einstein's theory of zigzag relativity applies. One of his lesser known theories. Here's a big new one. Must be quite new, it doesn't even have grass. Big too. Well, that's a new one over there too. Also big. There comes another dog walker. There's artwork, I think, on the garage door directly ahead of us, but it's open at the moment. I remember from walking this way previous occasions. Woof woof. Woof woof woof. Woof woof woof. Woof woof. Woof 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 woof. I don't speak dog, unfortunately. I'm better with cat. know if he's barking at me or somebody else. He was barking before I got anywhere close. Yes, he's barking at me now. Well, he successfully scared me off from his point of view. So we'll zigzag until we hit Cornwall, because that's the one that'll take us. There's a little bitty car. Cornwall's the one that will take us across the river again. This will be McCallum. Oh, this is Hill. Oh, I came further north than I thought. Well, we'll see how this works out. I might end up going across the Albert Street Bridge. Hill is the other busy one. Hill and McCallum are the two busiest east-west ones along here. Not busy, but busier than the ones that aren't Hill and McCallum. Also a much broader street. There's a little shopping area down there I've often walked by. Thought for a minute that's an alley, but it's an empty lot. I suppose I could walk through it. It would take me to the alley. Yeah, let's do that. It's kind of part of my zigzag pattern. It's not too muddy. It certainly would have been a couple of days ago. The ground is soft beneath that dry crust, though. Ooh, getting muddier all the time down here where the grass is. I couldn't see that. Let's work our way over here where it looks a bit firmer. Almost a bad choice. Okay. Oh, and then there is an alley here. So I'll take it. Hi, Dan. Everybody wants to be a cat. Because a cat's the only cat who knows where it's at. Everybody's picking up on that feline beat. Because everything else is obsolete. A square with a horn can make you wish you weren't born every time he plays. And with a square in the act, you're going to set that music back to the Stone Age days. Yes, I do know most of that song. From the Aristocats. A modern house with that garage, or at least a modern garage. Another zig. See, Albert is just right down there. So I probably actually will end up crossing the Albert Street Bridge. Oh, there's the little greenhouse that always looks nice in the snow when everything else is white and brown. That one really pops out with its orange door and or kind of pinky orange door in green color. So this is Ray. Pretty big one there, eh? That sort of yard light I think of as the 60s, because we had one in Texas in the little house we rented. I could never figure out how it worked. It was gas, and so it had this little glowing sort of mesh thing inside that gave off the light. I couldn't understand why it didn't burn up. But then I was 7, so I had an excuse. Here's one for sale. Little one. Interesting brickwork. Very little one, but interesting brickwork. Oh, and there's the big one. So I came by that one going the other way. So almost ended up on the same path, but it won't be quite. This is McCallum then. The next big road to my left, other side of these houses. That's a big garage, big enough for a large truck or a camper, and 3 doors. I smell charcoal again. Loose dog. Not great in traffic. This is a big one. It wasn't always this big. It was expanded a few years ago, given that rather grand promenade around the front. Another interesting one. Interesting shingles and roofline. I'm sure it's in my book. Don't remember anything about it off the top of my head. This is Albert, so yeah. Probably I'll just walk straight down Albert to the Albert Street Bridge, and we can take a look at the creek. So here's the side of that house. Interesting look. Tempting to walk through there, but that would be somebody's property, and I'm not going to do that. Or down there. Very tempting. See, this one has been expanded, or 2 houses were joined together. A lot of levels. Maybe it was designed like that. I don't know. That was probably a little garage, and now it's not, would be my guess. Could have just been a shed, I guess. It's a little small for a garage. Maybe it's always just been a shed. Oh, well, I think that's enough of a kink to make... Oh, there's a big one there, too. I think that's enough of a kink to make a zig, so we will call that a short zig. Much narrower alley. Is this bringing me to Regina Avenue? I think it is, so that'll work out just perfect. Yeah, that's got to be Regina Avenue with the amount of traffic on it. Just don't step in a puddle here at the last minute. It's only fun till your feet get wet. So yeah, we're basically right on top of the Albert Street Bridge, so that worked out perfectly from a logical progression point of view. And And we can go over there, across the bridge, and take a look at the creek as we cross, see what the spillway is up to. Spilling, mostly. Water, to be specific. Usually not a good idea to jaywalk here. People come around the corner, you can't see you, so. I've been in this house. It's one story, but it's quite large inside. Fortunately, this is going to work out just wrong for crossing the street. Unless, of course, I go the other way, walk along the creek and go under, but that's kind of silly. Oh, I've still got a walk light. All right, it did work out. Over the Albert Street Bridge, over the Albert Street Bridge. Over the Albert Street Bridge. We're off to finish walking once over the Albert Street Bridge. Of course, there's the lake where I walked yesterday. I walked all around it yesterday. There were birds and goslings in my way. Oh, I remember yesterday. Everything's a song cue if you know enough songs, and I know rather a lot of them. Of a certain era, a certain type. Couldn't tell you what's on the top of the charts right now. Unless it happened to be a BTS song. I actually know some of theirs because Alice is a big BTS fan, and so, per force, I am also a BTS fan. Though not to the extent she is. So let's see what the creek is up to here. Oh, there's pelicans. We saw them yesterday from the looking under the bridge. Looking up the creek. There's usually pelicans there, and I think it's because fish come over the spillway and they can nab them. The spillway is much quieter than it was during the melt. Could be my thumbnail today. Look at them. Now, yesterday is stuck in my head. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong. Now I long for yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. I believe in yesterday. I believe in yesterday. Thank you. Thank you very much. Me and Ringo and John will be here all week. Oh, and George. Ooh, that was entirely unintentional. And yet. Speaker's corner over there. Hello, Brian. Just a couple of more blocks and we'll be home. Again, house I really like. Never been in it, but I like it. Bye, Dan. That's Harrington Mews, where Wally Knight lives in my Shards of Excalibur young adult fantasy series. as I say, in a real place in a fictional house, or in a fictional house in a real place. Nose is running. Probably allergies. It runs quite a bit in the spring, so that's probably a sign of allergies. Here comes a dog. Hello. Very pretty with the sun out here. And there's tulips at the end of the boulevard here. I pointed them out yesterday. There's also flowers going down here. And one lone shoe, which is just a little odd. And I managed to pull my mic off doing that. So, 1 second. It's always amazed me how often you'll see like one shoe, especially on the highway, or one sock. This is Angus Boulevard. There's also an Angus Crescent, which we live on, and then there's also an Angus Street. And there may be an Angus Road. Whether they all mark the same Angus or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect some early city councillor or something. There were a lot of Scots in the early days involved in things around here, including the first Premier, Walter Scott, literally a Scot. Hello. Yeah, if it's COVID, it's so mild, you'd almost hope it was. Get it over with. But no, I've been sniffling for weeks, so off and on. Sort of as soon as the snow starts to melt. Plus, I think I'm actually allergic to cats, even though we have one. And he's not very allergenic. My wife's very allergic, and he doesn't bother her at all. But I suspect there's a certain je ne sais quoi there. Une allergie du chat might be how you say it in French. You know, all you do is say the English word and make it sound French. And that's like speaking French, isn't it? Allergie. Allergie. But I have a feeling I may have seen it, A-L-L-E-R-G-I-E, so it might actually be the word. En français. Okay, Angus Crescent, practically home. Looks like they're probably done cleaning the yard too. She had to go, I don't know, she wouldn't say. Alrighty, we will stop right here. And that's it for today. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow or not. I might, but if not, I'll definitely be back Monday, barring rain. So, bye for now.